thanks for the 100 bits to start us off with this awesome match we're about to see, and they're starting.
All right, here we go. In Link's house, we got 300 rupees, and then the Sanctuary,
And
we have
flippers.
Wow. Okay,
Both
so
pretty
no,
good. Early rupees are a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. And unless Big Dunka doesn't go to the Sanctuary, we will not be seeing fake flippers at all here, because right away we have them.
Yeah, and I imagine that would be where he's headed next anyway, so it's going to be a good setup. Now, Furaime is not going to have that starter cash, but depending on what tree pulls we get, it probably won't be an issue for now. Blue rupees, not terrible. Oh, and bomb drops from the Hoarder.
Oh, that is so nice. And 4 bomb drops, too. Really, really nice.
Just a piece of heart on the Lumberjack Cave ledge. So at least for now, no signs of an Agaseed incoming.
Yeah, not yet, but there are definitely plenty of scenarios that can play out for that Aghanim being required, but we just have to see how that goes. Furaime now in the Lost Woods. Gonna see what this item is over here. It is just a red rupee. Gonna pick it up because Furaime didn't stop at his house before he actually started this, so he just doesn't have the same kind of rupee stash that Big Dunka has at the moment. To answer chat's question, the flippers were in the Sanctuary chest.
Yeah, and we still see Furaime's still stocking up on those rupees, but we'll probably be happy to see the 300 in Link's house once he gets there.
Okay, so first stop in Kakariko is always... I always call it the Kakariko greenhouse, because it's the one place in Kakariko that's just green inside, like, everywhere, so...
The flute, immediately. Nice!
Yeah, they'll be able to activate that as soon as they're done with the next 2 locations. Someone in chat pointing out about the Houlihan room. There are multiple ways you can get in the Houlihan room. You don't, like, not having flippers is just one of the ways, one of the setups where you can get that. So they can still do the Houlihan room, but they can't do it the flipperless strat way. There's a couple of different ways you can activate it, though.
Yeah, and I've noticed that strategy in general has sort of lost favor a little bit over time, and I think that's because it still takes quite a bit of time regardless of which way you go about doing it, and there are definitely a lot of other ways to build up rupees. You don't necessarily need them right away. But we have the mushroom in the Kakariko well, and a bottle, so we're getting fetch quest items.
Yeah, we're getting fetch quest items, specifically Kakariko fetch quest items too, so they're going to be able to take that bottle to Sick Kid. Bottle vendor does not have anything significant, just an arrow capacity upgrade. And Furaime is now activating their flutes.
Yeah, feel free to get that swag duck hype going. We won't be hearing the Hylia national anthem quite yet because we are on Big Dunka's sound, but surely he will be activating his flute in just a moment, and we will get to hear it.
Nice little moonwalking here. Furaime actually going to turn in the mushroom right now. Probably going to warp back to Kakariko after this, but interesting strat. I don't think I've ever seen that way of progression. Now, I'm not even going to go check the mushroom. Just turning it in right now.
Interesting. I mean, I guess the logic there is that, you know, you're going to be back there eventually. Why take the time to walk around and do a screen transition when you can just fly, go somewhere else? That already counts as the screen transition, and then when you go back to buy potions, it's ready to go. Or if you're looking for something, you can just pop back there as well.
Yeah, definitely. I never would have thought of that. Another good thing about getting flute this early is it's also well, Quake Medallion on the sick kid.
Quake Medallion, okay, could be useful.
Yeah, for sure. But as I was saying, yeah, they'll have to use probably less save and quit transitions now that they can just flute everywhere. So it's always nice to get that early.
We're going to see what's on the library bookshelf, see if we're going to need to come back here with boots, but it's just a red rupee, so no.
Although rupees is probably what Furaime really wants right now. But
this is true.
But he'll probably be fine once he gets back to his house, though, so no worries.
And it's interesting, Furaime is opting to just jump into the race game not knowing what's there, but probably thinking that if it's not something useful, he can just flute away immediately.
Yeah.
As opposed to taking 2 walks if it's something useful. And we're going to get that mushroom item pickup.
Yeah, we are. I only saw that briefly. Again, are really fast runners. They don't need that much time to look at the map.
wait, it didn't work.
It didn't?
It didn't do it. What?
He definitely had a screen transition in
I mean, he was all over the place.
That's...
It actually didn't count. What? I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that before.
Huh. And wait, did they even give him the...
It was 100 rupees at the end there, but
okay,
he still had to do the screen transition away from the house. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we all learned something today. Apparently don't flute away from the witch's hut. Apparently you still have to screen transition there.
We do have the hook shot, though. Bigdunka did pick up the hook shot just now, so that is... Didn't even react because we were so confused.
Was that the chest in Dam?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it was.
And the book right
and
outside
the book.
the desert for Furaime.
We have the hook and the book.
Nice.
And a sword.
And a sword. South Hyrule is giving out the goods.
Our runners are literally bookshot right now.
Oh my god.
And not wasting any time, gonna jump right in the desert, taking this as a cue that, oh, I should probably be going here right now.
Not only was I going to say exactly that, I was going to say those exact same words, so that was incredible.
Oh, wow.
I was literally about to say, not wasting any time, he's gonna jump in the desert right now.
We're just on the same page, that's good. We're on the same page.
We are. Oh, a glove from Mini Moldorm Cave.
Oh yeah, he also doesn't have the sword yet, so he's doing this with just bombs as his only weapon.
Oh, but he finds a map, so no matter what, gonna need to bonk the torch.
Yep, boots are required for the completion of Desert Palace.
And Furaime picks up his 300 rupees.
No, the Power Glove was in Mini Moldorm Cave. But we do know that since Desert is a crystal, that they will need to go back in there with the boots to finish it off, so...
And you know, this is making Death Mountain look pretty appealing with the setup we have right now.
Yeah, I'd agree. There's a lot of chests up there. Hookshot will lead him to 6 more on the east side. So yeah, that could be a good play for them right now. Specifically since they don't really have the lantern or bow, so they're probably not thinking Eastern Palace. And yep, sure enough, there we go. Oh no, never mind.
He's fluting around. I could see. I mean, it makes sense to keep going in the direction of Sahasrara and then maybe clearing out some stuff in Eastern. But unless something really significant drops there, we'll definitely be seeing. I'm predicting some progression up on the mountain.
Yeah. But yeah, we do have the flippers, so we can definitely check some of the Zora items too. Don't have 500, so Zora himself, unless the ledge item is 100 rupees, is probably not going to be gotten just yet. Oh, got a blue mail up there. Bigdunka is not opting to get it though, which, you know, it's still early in the game. He doesn't need it yet, and may not need it at all.
Yeah, I might not be seeing any red mail on this run.
He is going to check out Escape though, or at least the back end of it, to see what chests are there. It looks like Furaime is following suit as well.
And nothing but health from the back part of Escape right now. And as someone is pointing out, I do believe that was Sank Heart underneath the sanctuary, not in it.
And, okay, Furaime is actually going to be taking a chance to go through the front end of Escape. Bigdunka is going with the play that you suggested and going on top of Death Mountain, doing what is a small sequence break here, the lampless old man cave. By logic, this is not in the logic yet, so they're not going to get any progression here, but it could lead to a future progression item, so not a very hard room to do either, but it is just for 20 rupees. So
yeah, and as we've been seeing a lot, even just in this tournament, current logic really likes to hide the lamp on us. So most of the runners in this tournament are quite confident with dark rooms. So who knows when we'll be seeing that lamp, unless it pops up really early. We've had some runs where we don't see it at all.
That's very true.
And I'm loving Furaime's use of the hookshot all outside and inside of Hyrule Castle right now. He just seems to know all of the right places to hook onto stuff, to move around a little bit faster.
Yeah, this is the type of play that you'll see from a lot of these runners. They've literally practiced and just done certain screen transitions a lot, so they know like all the right places and all the different objects they can hookshot onto, so they can really make navigating some screens look like a breeze.
And we have coming up here for Bigdunka what I've come to think of as the new hype cave. So we'll see if it turns out anything good today. There we go.
Yep.
There's one good thing.
I'll take that as a good thing for sure. Even if Misery Mile and Turtle Rock are not necessarily required, it's still good to have, just in case the big key might be on the right side of Ganon's Tower. Mirror.
Another good thing.
And another one. And okay, that's okay.
I think you got a little too hyped there.
I really, really thought it was getting ready to pay off. Even more than it already has.
Red boomerang! Yay! But yeah, definitely pretty hype.
For sure. And with that mirror, that does open up Tower of Hera.
It
So if
does.
Big Duncan wants to flute over there and check the other side, which, oh yeah, he did check Spectacle Rock, so yeah, he did check that.
Yeah, Hera might not be looking too appealing right now without a fire source, and he has not picked up his book yet, so he wouldn't even be able to check what's on
That
either
is
tablet.
True.
But there is always that possibility that you get a pretty you get the big key on the first floor, and then you can hope to find both of your Tower of Hera items without needing that lamp or fire rod.
Plus, as we know, versions 26 and 27 have been really kind of stinted towards having items in dungeons. So,
and Furaime just confirmed from Sahasrahla that Green Pendant is in Iced Palace.
Ooh. Okay, he is making the play to Hera, it looks like.
Yeah, on the plus side with this play, if it does turn out that you're stuck with having to go into the basement, pretty quickly, so you get to duck out fast.
Yeah, and also thankfully because unless he gets Titansmith here, but they can't actually check Dark Death Mountain yet. So if they ever do have to come back, they can just kind of swing by Hera really quick and check the basement. When they're back up there checking Dark Death Mountain.
I'm also hearing crystal music for Tower of Hera.
Okay, so Tower of Hera, also a crystal dungeon, and I believe Eastern is as well. Because I think I saw I saw there was definitely a crystal in Desert, and I think in the corner of my eye I saw one at Eastern too. And I think I saw chat say that all three were crystals. So
definitely something you like to see when you're running a seed.
Yeah, all the Light World dungeons are very, very short. They do not take very long to complete or even full clear, so very nice to have them being crystals. Ooh, Vanilla Moon Pearl!
Vanilla Moon Pearl. Interesting. Very interesting. Was that our first item out of Hera so far? I had to click away for a moment.
I haven't seen anything else. Yep, chat confirming it was the first item.
Okay, so in that case, it looks like Moldorm's holding on to a key for an item in the basement.
Yeah. Okay, so there is an item in... Oh, wait. Now chat's saying that there was 3 bombs, so maybe...
Okay, so there were 3 bombs in the basement? The first basement room?
Yes. Oh, 3 bombs from Zora.
Oh, well, there is that small key, but gonna need a fire rod or lamp before we can find out if the basement holds anything valuable.
Yeah, like no matter what, they can't get in the basement anyway, so we'll just not know until it can come back, I guess. Okay, so Big Dunka does have the Moon Pearl. Unfortunately, unfortunately, he has no way to get in the Dark World yet, because with just the Power Glove, you also need the hammer as well. So he's probably going to take a look at Sasharala and then probably head into Eastern as well, because I think he's checked about everything else except... Okay, no, he hasn't checked the desert area yet. But that'll be a quick check, and we know that there's nothing there. So there is probably something we're looking for in Eastern Palace right now.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we've got to be seeing either a lamp and either Master Sword and Cape, or Titan's Mitts or Hammer, before we can start progressing anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Or I suppose a Master Sword to get something out of the Ether Tablet with that book, but...
That is true. Yeah, that could be something, yeah.
But that would still need to lead to one of the items I already listed.
Mm-hmm. I think there is actually a pretty high probability we'll be seeing probably either the Hammer or the Titans met here, because if you get the lamp, by that point, like, you'd also need the Cape as well, and it just kind of, like, would you get both of those in here? So I think it's highly likely we'll see probably... Yep!
There's that Titans Mitt.
Okay, so there is Big Dunka's Dark World access.
And that not only is opening up the usual the Dark World route for West Dark World, it's also opening up East Dark World Death Mountain. So quite a few things open now to check.
And there is a very interesting circumstance here where, with the Titan's Mitt and the Flippers, they can also get to right side Dark World. However, that doesn't that does not necessarily mean that Aghanim's not required anymore, because of the very small probability that crystals 5 and 6 will lead to the hammer. Because there's no other way to get that bomb, that big bomb, to the pyramid from the north wraparound route.
That would be awesome.
Now, that is going to be highly unlikely to happen. I'd say it's highly unlikely, but it can happen. Because hammer blocks out a lot.
We're also looking at a pretty good possibility of needing to go to Ice Palace. We really just need them to pick up one more item for the seed to be telling them to go there. Maybe for that green pendant?
Dark World, Red Pendant Darkness, and 5 and 6 in Swamp and Mire. I did not see where blue was.
I did not see blue either.
Okay, thank you, Volt. But anyway, okay, I think at that point we can say that Aghanim is not required because you need Hammer for Swamp. And Swamp
that you do. Yeah.
Okay, so Aghanim off the table. Sorry everybody who was wishing for that. Oh, blue is in Thieves Town. Okay. There we go.
Now, Thieves is the other dungeon that I always hope is a crystal, aside from the 3 Light World dungeons. Those are kind of the 4 that I'm always like, please be crystals every time.
Yeah, Thieves is always interesting to me because it's labeled as the 4th Dark World dungeon, But honestly, I find like it's probably one of the easier ones and shorter ones to get through.
Yeah, I think the thing with that is that once you know it, it's very, very short and easy. But when you're first playing the game, it's incredibly confusing.
That's true. I can get that, especially with if you don't know how the boss gimmick works too.
Yeah, and I think the design of it is very heavily based on that. It's based on this idea of, well, when someone's playing this game for the first time, they're going to be lost. But once you've been running it, multiple times a day, like we all do,
Mm-hmm.
it just becomes second nature to you.
Yeah, we have people who run just the normal vanilla game. We have people who run the randomizer. It's just like clockwork. We know so many people just know the dungeons so well. People in this tournament and people who speedrun the vanilla game.
So we have Furaime going into the Moldworm fight. And looks like bigdunka is heading down into Village of Outcasts. Gonna pick up a few items here. Probably dip into Thieves a little bit because it's a lot of pretty quick item checks. Although with those Titansmiths, it's also not completely out of the realm of possibility that he could also decide to head down and check some South Dark World stuff first, because at least you're getting back up easily. Ether Tablet just holding on to rupees.
Yeah, and also because they don't have the hammer, I can understand maybe putting off Thieves Town just a little bit, just on the off chance that they may need the hammer to get into that last room. But nope, he's going straight in.
Yeah, Thieves Town is nice because for being, like we said, a fairly small dungeon that's quick to run if you know the game well, 4 items isn't bad to get out of, just a few minutes.
And there is always the possibility that last chest I talked about, there could be a possibility of dungeon items in there, so they may not even need to get that chest.
So far, just a red rupee and a heart container.
There's the big key, so, okay, there's one. Oh, okay, he's mirroring out, which I see a lot of runners do this. Sometimes they just check the first 4 chests and then come back later with the hammer just later on. Or it is even a pendant, too, so you may not even be thinking, well, if it's a pendant, I don't have to really worry about completing this right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's definitely a common thing to just check the first 4 and then head out and go focus on other things for a bit, especially when you have digging game, hype cave, blacksmiths, purple chest, all open right now.
Yeah, and funnily enough, bigdunka is just a hammer away from being able to do Swamp Palace. Not crazy about doing that with just the fighter sword, but it would be an option.
Yeah, and we just got 20 rupees from the digging game after only 3 digs, so at least it was a quick disappointment. I also just realized validation arrow in the big chest of Eastern Palace, for considering vanilla, it's the bow in there. That's pretty great.
Oh, yeah.
I am a fan of that.
Such a tease when you think of that. It's like, okay, this is where the bow usually is. Oh, okay.
Have an arrow.
Yeah, someone's in chat said someone took the bow and left an arrow.
Just a little piece of love from the blacksmiths. Furaime, meanwhile, has his Dark World access, and he's starting in Mire area. So that's interesting.
Okay. I do kind of like this play. It will give him some early intel for what the medallion is for Misery Mire. Chances are that he does have it just because he has 2 medallions already, but it could always be Bombos, I suppose.
Yeah, I might have seen this play making a bit more sense if you already had your boots, could possibly get 2 crystals out of the way back to back, depending on what Mire requires and what other items they have. But it's randomizer. Those items could also be here, and I could be proven horribly wrong.
Yeah, that's the thing. We talk a lot about, like, okay, well, we'll wait till we have this item, but there is always that chance for an item to be inside that dungeon, too. Meanwhile, Master Sword here in the Checkerboard Cave.
Yeah, not the kind of item I was talking about, but not terrible either.
Yeah, like, definitely not. He's fluting away, though, so Mire is not in the cards just yet for him, which is oh, well?
I think he was having trouble making out of his mind there, but I think he's going for it.
Yeah, like, Master Sword Vitreous isn't too bad with Master Sword, but it's still a really, really long fight, so...
I would think the thing that anyone would be most thinking about right now is the fact that there are dark rooms and you still don't have your lamp.
That is another factor, too, yeah.
I know these runners are very confident in their dark rooms, but Mire is undoubtedly, I think, the worst one. That's a lot of back-to-back dark rooms that are kind of complicated. But there's also the possibility that lamp is in here. There's no reason why it can't be.
Yeah, exactly. Furaime might also be thinking that, well, I've checked pretty much everything in the light world before I got the progression I needed. Maybe I can make a big play right here and really get some extra time, which he could be thinking
that. Meanwhile, Hype Cave not giving us much, just giving us a lot of, quite a bit of bomb capacity upgrade and a heart container.
Yeah, that's why Hype Cave changed to Death Mountain. Hype Cave.
Yep.
The sprite that Furaime is using, I believe, is Marissa from Toho. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you are correct.
Okay, I knew it was one of the Toho girls. I just wasn't sure which one. Okay, bigdunka going around to check the pyramid and maybe even catfish too if he decides to take an adventure along that coast there.
I believe it was Furaime who checked Sora, right? So could even see him.
Oh, that's true.
All the way up to get both of those done at once. Just a heart piece. Where is our progression right now?
Yeah, there are a couple of places where it could be. It could be even further in the Thieves' Town because bigdunka only checked the first 4 chests. It could even be a possible play where maybe that hammer is the first and the only item in Swamp that they can reach right now.
What do we have as possibilities for our pedestal right now? I want to say the boots, which we know are required for desert.
Yeah, boots can be on there.
Can't be hammer or bow. I suppose it could also be Fire Rod if we get Bombos for Ice Palace.
Yeah, it could be Fire Rod. It could even be Bombos too if they do get Fire Rod. Oh wait, yeah, it could be.
And Furaime is braving the Misery Mire dark rooms right now. May not be able to tell 100% what's going on in there, but you'll know if he makes it on the other side. It doesn't matter how long it takes, he did a great job. They're really hard.
Ice Rod could also be on the pedestal.
Oh, that's true. We've got Turtle Rock required. Oh, and actually, you know what? Furaime's in the last dark room for Mire, now that I mention it. So he is just about to pop out of there really, really quickly.
Yeah, I'm honestly not surprised that he knows his dark rooms. Also, funny little glitch there where the blue mail kind of morphed into some 3 bombs for a minute before grabbing it, and it turned back into the blue mail.
Yeah, if you don't pick up the item from Zora, then the ledge item will look like that item, but still be whatever it was originally.
Yeah, he made some clothes out of bombs. That is correct, Joe.
And Furaime is tossing bombs at the Vitreous Eyes right now. And now going in for some sword spins. Meanwhile, Big Dunka's heading up to East Dark World Death Mountain, going to check 6 locations here and possibly confirm what medallion we need for Turtle Rock.
Furaime just having 3 eyeballs left, now just 1. Ooh, takes a Thunderbolt from that guy, though.
And, you know, this is an interesting strategy on Furaime's part because, you know, on one hand, he's about to pick up his second crystal. On the other hand, there's a good chance that at some point in the seed, they're going to pick up some items that would have made this a little bit faster. So when Big Dunka's coming down here, he might be able to go through this faster than Furaime did and make up some time there.
Yeah. Ooh, I was really hoping for a hammer right there, honestly.
Yeah.
That honestly would have made, like, I think, that worth it, I'd say, because hammer just opens up a lot at this point. But like you said, yeah, Big Dunka could more than likely have way better items when he gets to that point. He could have the bow, he could have a better sword even, so we'll have to see. Well, I got the blue cane from Hookshot Cave, which actually, oh no, they can't even get the Spike Cave. They don't have the hammer yet.
Yeah, no hammers. The Spike Cave is still closed. And I just missed Big Dunka checking the medallion for Turtle Rock. I saw him as he walked away from it.
Yeah, oh, apparently it's the Potter coin.
Oh, okay. Cool. Now, this is interesting. I wonder if while Big Dunka is over here, he's going to think the same thing Furaime did and go for checking out Mire after he discovers that Desert is boots locked.
Yeah, there is a possibility for that. Okay, so yeah, just to clarify, yeah, the Ether medallion is the medallion for Turtle Rock, so they have both medallions they need for that. Bombos could still come into play if they'll need that coin for Ice Palace entry at some point, but aside from that, Bombos is not looking like it's going to be on the cards.
And Big Dunka is going for a
Oh,
sequence. Oh, there's so many things to talk about at the moment. You go for it. Go for
yep.
it.
Bombos on the bumper cave ledge, so can't get that yet. Need cape for that, but there is possible ice palace entry once they find the cape.
Yeah, could be the requirement for Ice Palace if Fire Rod is in there somewhere or locked behind another item that's in Ice Palace.
Yeah.
And then Big Dunka is going for this sequence break using the small key to see if there's any items on the left side of Desert. The right side. Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
The right side. I know what directions are.
But yeah, some runners will opt to do this play if they're just honestly just really looking for progression. And honestly, it is a good idea at times, but I don't know. It finds a big key, but unfortunately, since there is a small key on the torch, still can't finish the dungeon. But what are we gonna get here? Oh, just the compass. Okay, so gonna check the big chest before leaving.
Just a piece of heart. So it looks like not much value out of that, except for arguably being able to come back later with boots and quickly wrap up the dungeon since everything's been checked.
Okay, chat actually making a no. Okay, never mind. No, they cannot get in the turtle rock. They need a hammer, so they can't get in the turtle rock yet.
Yeah, that hammer is a very big deal item if you're still learning things about Link to the Past and Randomizer. I think hammer has the most dependencies on it, and by that I mean it's required for the most things out of all the items in the game. That hammer really opens up everything.
Yeah, you're not really you're never going to see a seed where hammer is not required because you need it for the very end of Palace of Darkness. You need to get to the very end of Ice Palace. You need it to even get into Turtle Rock. You need it for Swamp. That's 4 dungeons right there. So even if they're all pendants, there's going to be one dungeon where you'll need it for. So hammer is always going to be required.
Yeah. There's always going to be at least one dungeon that requires the hammer. And even outside of that, it just opens so many locations.
Yeah, it does, for sure. It also opens what I think is the shortest routes, without flute anyway, to the right side of Dark World 2. It's just going all the way around, jumping in the lake and jumping out just kind of takes more time than just being able to just hammer those pegs and head over to Darkness Palace or the Pyramid or wherever.
And it looks like Big Dunka is going to hop into Mire after all. So that situation we were talking about earlier about making up time, not going to see that happening necessarily because he's also going to have to go through that dungeon with Master Sword and bombs as the weapons against Vitreous. And also no lamp, so the same navigating those dark rooms as well.
And Furaime, from what I remember, navigated those dark rooms very, very well. So, that alone, I think, was since he's making essentially the same play, I think that could make a difference here big time.
Yeah, absolutely. And then in terms of what we haven't seen now, are we getting down to our... looks like we're getting down to having to go into a dungeon that they don't yet have the items to complete, or checking the tablets. I think we've got Ether and Bombos open to us.
Yeah, I think we'll see that from Furaime when he gets down there. to finish off the purple chest side quest. But yeah, we have the first chest in Swamp possibility. We again have the rest of Thieves Town, which wasn't checked yet. Even like the first item or two in Palace of Darkness could hold something.
And having said that, Furaime is going to be right in position to check Bombo's tablet. And possibly look into that situation you were talking about earlier of checking the first item location in Swamp Palace.
Yeah, it's a little annoying to open up Swamp just to check one item, because if it's not the progression you need, you have to leave, and then later when you come back, you have to unflood the water again. But it's, again, if it's where that item you need is, then you'd be making up a lot of time if you do check that early, and it is something. Just a piece of heart from Bombos, though. Okay, it looks like I might be jumping the gun, but it looks like he is heading to Swamp. Okay,
I don't think he's been to Hype.
Okay.
But then we could possibly see him dip into Swamp.
Maybe.
If your army just does decide to jump in there, what do you think we'll find? Do you have any predictions on that one?
I'm not going to say hammer, because that's kind of the obvious one people are hoping for. I'm going to say that it will end up being the cape, which will lead to Bombos, which will lead to ice, which is where we'll probably find the hammer in there. That's what I'm going to say.
Oh, that's good. I like that. I was thinking boots, but you had a whole like progression there. I like that a lot. He's not going there though. He's flying away.
Aww. You'll be back.
You'll be back for your boots and/or cape.
Also, very quickly, thank you, Dr. Medic29, for that free Twitch Prime subscription. It means a lot to us.
Oh yeah, thank you for the cheers we've been seeing. Much appreciation for all of the support for Speed Gaming. And bigdunka's in the first of the dark rooms here.
Yeah, this is the whole reason I don't like doing Meyer dark rooms. This room right here, this room is a pain.
Yeah, I was gonna say this might be. Yeah, I was gonna say this might be the hardest of the rooms, because you've got it's one thing to have to navigate a room just to get to the other side of it, just to get to the other door. It's a whole other thing entirely to have to also place a block on a switch.
Yeah, and I swear when the time I did that dark room, I swear like the button was moving locations every single time. Like I was like, okay, the button's here, but then I moved, try to set it up. It's like, wait, no, it's over here. It just seemed like it was moving on me. Like, I don't know. I hate that dark room.
I also have to point out what Furaime just did here in Paradox Cave, because I don't know why something so obvious has never occurred to me before. He messed up the block pushes, so he wasn't able to hookshot through the blocks to get through. So he went upstairs and then just back downstairs because the blocks reset and you can walk past them. You don't have to go and fall in the other hole, which seems really obvious, but I had no idea.
That just blew my mind.
I always just thought I would always just keep going, like you just follow that route. But no, you can just walk back downstairs apparently. I
find it kind of funny that that's what like I'm impressed by, because like yeah, from a kid doing that room, yeah, that's how I always did it as well. But the fact that now like we do like the hook shot, fade through, and the mirror, and then just this is what faces us.
Yeah.
When, as a kid, we didn't know these mirror strats. We didn't know these hook shot strats. I find that hilarious. Yeah, bigdunka was using some Cane of Burna strats on Vitrius there for a little bit.
Very nice. making for a much faster fight, I think.
Yeah, I think he didn't get through the dark rooms as fast as Furaime did, but I think he did make up a little time on Vitreous anyway.
And I think Furaime is going to head in and start checking out Thieves Town more.
Again, this could be a good play to check out the rest of Thieves Town because, yeah, Big Dunk opted just to check the 4 chests. And we don't know what's back there in the remaining chests, so there could be something back there.
And bigdunka is playing it safe. I believe that Vitreous would have done enough damage to kill him instantly if he had been hit, so he was just standing back and doing slow swipes.
Yeah, definitely playing it safe right there. Okay, so both of our runners have 2 crystals. That's good. But where is this progression they need? Oh, Big Dunka has not checked the front end of Escape yet, that's right.
Yeah, I think this is a very interesting race if you sort of start looking at where the runners are at, because at different moments it's kind of seemed like one might be ahead of the other. But Furaime has checked a lot of locations very quickly and kind of lucked out that bigdunka decided to go for the Meyer play as well, because that was sort of the thing that was a bit of a time loss for Furaime in terms of, you know, bigdunka's potential to make up that time if he had waited on Meyer. So it's just really interesting to see the way this is going and where we're going to find our next progression.
Yeah, because the thing about that Meyer play is it didn't pay off at all. They did not get any items that would have helped them out further, so they could have waited on that.
Yeah, and that could have really hurt Furaime's time if bigdunka hadn't gone and done the same thing.
Okay, we are going to start seeing some new items here. Nope, just the map. That's hold. So the only item we're going to see left in this dungeon is actually the item on Blind. So, yeah, Furaime is going to clean up the rest of this dungeon. Hopefully get something, and if he does, then I think he'd definitely be in the lead at this point, because I imagine Dunka will be checking a lot of other locations before he heads back to Thieves Town.
I don't think we've seen the Maiden's chest either.
That's going to be a small key, though.
Oh, right, of course. Oh, yeah. Can Blind not have the key?
I don't think Blind can, no. You would think he could, though. I think he doesn't, though, just in the case of, like, maybe keylock shenanigans, but even then, I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they're confirming that there would be a keylock scenario if Blind had a key.
Oh, I guess you could not... Right, yeah, it's the scenario... Yeah, it's a scenario... I've heard about this before, and was still kind of confused, but I get it. If you don't follow the normal dungeon progression, you could lock yourself out if you don't go upstairs first.
Yeah.
If you don't go upstairs first, then you open the big chest room. You need to be able to bomb the floor upstairs to get into the Blind fight.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'd love to see hammer on Blind and then an item. No, never mind.
Wow,
I don't
not either.
No.
Okay, so first chest in swamp, first chest in pod, and maybe a few other chests in pod too, I guess.
Yeah, as long as pod isn't bow locked for, you know, all those chests in the back, could be something there.
No, pod has not been checked, so we don't know if there's anything there yet.
I think as far as dungeons, that's all, isn't it?
Yeah, just pod and swamp at this point. To answer a question in chat, the records for these two runners, bigdunka is currently 1 and 2, and Furaime is 0 and 0. This is actually his first match.
The interesting thing about a scenario like this, though, is that, you know, unless the seed is really set up for a lot of double dipping, we will see once we find that, you know, the 1 or 2 progression items, things should start to speed up significantly because we're getting down to very few locations left.
We are. And yeah, bigdunka now going back to Thieves Town to finish it up, so we know that he's not going to get anything new progression-wise. I imagine now we're probably going to see the pod play from Furaime because at this point it is a little faster to get there as opposed to Swamp, and it does have more locations to find stuff, or possible locations anyway. Or maybe not. Did Furaime check Pyramid?
I don't think he's checked Pyramid yet. No.
Okay, well...
Then probably heading
yeah,
over.
then pod.
And I was going to say that would explain why I think if you were just heading to pod, you probably would have mirrored and fluted to 5. But if you're just going to walk all the way over to the pyramid, I could see not fluting and just taking the walk.
Well, if you flute to 5, you won't have the hammer, and you need that.
Oh, right, the hammer. So... Of course, the hammer. Oh
god. Yes, Ice Palace can have hammer. It just can't be on Cold Stare, and I believe that one room where you need to get a chest with a hammer.
Yeah, there are 2 chests blocked by the hammer, and then Cold Stare himself.
Oh yeah,
quite a few locations. Still quite a few locations that could have, and obviously it can't be on Sahasrahla because Green Pendant is on Cold Stare.
Yeah, but yeah, for sure. Ice Palace can have the hammer, definitely. I was actually getting kind of scared there that Furaime was going to lose Kiki because
those were both
taking a hit right there.
Yeah, those were both some very, very close calls. And we'll see if we have an instant bow lock here in pod. And if that is the case, we probably are literally just down to the first chest in Swamp.
Yep.
Okay, we have a key. We have a key. We have a key. I also can't help but wonder where our lamp must have been, which is... I always come back to this. I'm always so curious about what V27 does with the lamp. If our progression is in the dark rooms, we gotta find a lamp in here, don't we? Or that first chest in Swamp, I guess.
Okay, I'm thinking about, like, because right now, there is a possibility the bow can be in here, which could lead to that current bug that's in Palace of Darkness, where they could get key locked and make the seed uncompletable, I think. I don't know all the specifics of that.
Yeah, it's something to do with if you open certain door. Oh, we got some boots though.
Okay, we have the boots.
I believe it's if you are out of keys and open, I want to say the door that leads into the dark maze, but then or no, if you don't open that door, but the bow is in there or something, then there's an issue where you get locked out.
Okay, so yes, we have the boots. The boots were in a dark room, which means that the lamp could have been found before getting the boots there. So it's either the lamp, I guess, is either in here or in that chest and swamp, unless there's other progression that they can reach without the lamp.
Oh, and there's the lamp.
Right there, so there we go. Okay, so the boots are on logic now. Yeah, it was a sequence break, but a very, very short one.
If Furaime is heading back here, oh, he's going to hammer yump it. I wasn't sure what he was coming back for, but... Wait, but he doesn't have... Oh, he's going to hammer yump into the maze. Got it.
Yes, blacksmith has been checked, as well as purple chest for both runners, I believe.
Okay, and on second try, Furaime gets into the maze. Does have that lamp, which is nice. Don't have to navigate this in the dark. And we've got the big key now, so we'll see if the big chest holds anything for us.
Fire rod.
Fire rod, and that would also be a sequence break. I don't know. Actually, I don't know anymore.
I
guess he
I don't think it would be.
Could have had a key to get over there, yeah, but he just didn't. Interesting.
Okay, I guess it is a sequence break. Wait, or not? Yeah, it is. It is.
Because I think the logic would be assuming like you still need the bow to have enough keys to clear everything.
Right, right.
But that dungeon's a tricky one. That dungeon is a tricky one with its layout. But Furaime is making a good move here, heading back to desert now. Got boots and fire rod, and lamp actually. So fire source and ready to finish this dungeon.
And bigdunka is actually checking the one chest and swamp.
This will be really interesting. If this is hammer, that would be huge.
It really would be, because yeah, if he gets that hammer, then he can just fully clear pod at that point. Oh no, he can't.
No, still needs
no,
the bow.
my bad.
But hammer does open up a lot, and it would even be interesting if it was the bow.
Yeah.
No. Just the red rupee.
I guess what I was thinking of a more intricate solution where it's like, okay, you get the bow, and then it turns out that one of the chests in the bow lock section was I know, you get the bow, You go into Pod, get the lamp, go to Eastern, find the bow at like Armos or something. Then go back. That's what I was kind of thinking of in my head, I guess. Oh yeah, this also puts Hera Basement back on the table too.
Yeah, even if like Hera Basement was the bow, what the logic could have been expecting might have been, you know, Pod to Hera and then back to Pod.
To answer a question in chat, Furaime is one of the runners that had that issue with a seed being invalid, forcing them to postpone their race to a few days later from this point. Bigdunka was not in that race, though. It was in another one with Furaime.
Yeah, and in the case of this seed, it doesn't look like there wouldn't have been the key lock issue in Pod with this setup. What we were questioning earlier was whether or not getting to those other chests was a sequence break, and I think technically it was. I think the logic still expects you to have had the bow to get to those items, because otherwise then it could be a key lock. But you know, it just so happened that Furaime didn't need the bow to actually get those items over there.
Yeah, in a lot of cases, I think the fire rod was the sequence break, not really the lamp. I mean, you think about it,
not the lamp.
Yeah, so the lamp itself, it opens a lot of the same things that fire rod does as well. So chances are that they'll find the progression anyway.
Yeah, and I think that's why we have Furaime heading back into Mire right now, trying to check those spots that are blocked by the fire rod and the lamp, thinking that there's probably some progression here, and again, the other option being Hera Basement.
And yep, Furaime can also check Skull Woods too. But again, that leads in the whole thing where that would be a bit of a break right now. Once our runners get the bow, our confusion will end, I think.
Hey, hammer. And there's our hammer.
Okay, hammer will open up a lot, as we've discussed many times in this seed. It'll open up a lot.
And Furaime is heading right for Swamp Palace, which makes a lot of sense. A lot of item locations. All that was left blocking it was that hammer. And on top of that, it's a crystal as well.
Okay, bigdunka getting his fire rod. But one thing bigdunka does not have is he did not get the boots from Pod.
Oh no, he did pick them up. He did.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah.
I was looking at the tracker though.
Yeah, no, I saw him pick those up. And he's making the same move here, going to check out the parts of Meyer that he couldn't get through, and he's going to be very happy he did.
Yeah, exactly. Immediately going to get that hammer back. On the subject of go modes, just to, at least in terms of Furaime anyway, it looks like we just need a bow and an ice rod to get into go mode at this point.
Yep, I think so. And then he will be set up to finish. And I'm interested to see where that could pop up at this point.
If it were me, I think it'd be in its cannon position in Randomizer, which is Turtle Rock. I always seem to see it in Turtle Rock and Randomizer for some reason.
That is true. That does seem to be a common thing. And I see chat's having a pretty big debate here. I'm just going to throw it out there, since both runners are in the position to complete the seed and didn't get locked out by the order of items going on in pod. Maybe we'll leave that subject for now and worry about it after the race when we can talk to some people about it.
Yeah, the one thing I'll just say to close it off is the tourney admins and also just the people who work on this randomizer all the time, they are aware of that bug, and I think at this point they are currently looking for a way to kind of better implement that. So it's nothing we have to really worry about right now. If it ever does come into play, which in this seed it looks like it probably won't, it will be taken care of in a fair way, so there's no need to worry about any of that. Okay, so Bigdunka finishes up Desert Palace. Furaime getting ready to finish up Swamp Palace. And looks like Bigdunka is making his way back to Skull Woods to finish that up. I do kind of like that he's going for some of the shorter dungeons to kind of clear out to hopefully drag out one of those other items he needs. Because doing Swamp Palace in Go mode is such a thing of beauty. It's so fast, it's so free. So I imagine that that could be going through his mind right now, where it's like, okay, well, I want to do this later on the off chance I'll run into those items I need, so I can just make this really, really fast.
Yeah, Swamp is definitely one of those dungeons that makes a very big difference if you're able to go mode it, along with Ice Palace, which isn't looking like too much of an issue right now for this seed. They do have what they need to go in there, but there's still a lot open that could have their go mode items. I think that's the bow that just dropped there.
I think it was too. Okay, well, all right. There's the bow.
So I guess no go mode Swamp.
Yeah.
In the cards for this one.
The only opportunity I could see for that is maybe like if he does a check where he just kind of goes to Argus first as opposed to the left side, and if he finds Ice Rod before then, that'd still be pretty fast. So that could still always happen. But okay, it looks like Furaime is Furaime is going to the big bomb cellar here. Gonna check out that pyramid fairy.
Oh, we've got a sword upgrade and silvers.
Oh, vanilla pyramid fairy.
That is vanilla, isn't it? That's amazing.
Yeah,
a sword upgrade and silvers.
I only say kind of because it's the tempered sword, not buttered sword, but still, like, yeah. That's
still, exactly, I mean, if you already had tempered, it would have been butter.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be really, really good for Furaime now. Once you get tempered in silvers, at that point, it's just kind of like, okay, well, I don't have to worry about the final boss anymore, because Master Sword, even with silvers, is really, really, really slow with Ganon. So I'm sure he's happy for that item pickup there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's again not necessarily that ice rod we're looking for to finish off our go mode here, but still really nice to find back to back in one spot and just have that reassurance. You know, this is the final boss wrapped up with the bow right here, thanks to these two items.
Yeah, it looks like Dunka is going to Swamp, so he is going to be on the right track here for sure.
And you know, with that bow drop from Argus, we're looking at, I don't recall if they found all of the items in Eastern. I'm pretty sure they didn't find all the items in Pod because they could not get to the bow lock side. So there's still a lot of potential for Ice Rod to pop up in quite a few locations.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
Even in Turtle Rock itself. And it'll be interesting to see if Big Dunka also, you know, checks that fairy right after this, like Furaime did, grabs that tempered sword and the silvers. And Furaime making another really interesting move there. Used a bit of a damage boost from that spike to just hop across the room to where the key dropped. Is that did I see that correctly?
I think you did. Yeah, as chat's pointing out, before the race started, you could actually watch Furaime actually doing some practice in Skullwoods beforehand. So,
oh, and
see.
He seems like he didn't want sword beams on the boss. Interesting. That makes sense.
Oh yeah, that does make sense too. Yeah, because sword beams can really mess up Mothula fight as well.
So we've got ourselves down to one last item we need to find. Do you have any predictions on where our ice rod is going to be?
At this point, I'm still gonna go with Turtle Rock, even though I was saying that earlier for the bow. I don't know, just it's kind of feeling like that there's something in there at this point. So I think it's gonna be in a trolley location. They're gonna maybe consider checking other locations before going up to Turtle Rock, or they might just use the logic that this is version 26/27. A lot of items in dungeons. Turtle Rock gambles have definitely paid off in the past. There could definitely be something there. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Turtle Rock.
You know, it's been a bit of a rough seat on them, and you know, I never want to wish anything bad on the runners, but I just can't help but feel that it would be really fun to see Sahasrahla holding our ice rod.
That's fair. That could probably be there too.
And if that happens, they'll kill me later. It's fine.
Oh. I'll protect you somehow.
somehow. And Furaime once again blowing my mind with execution. I've not seen that set up before on our most nights, and it was great.
Whatever works is all you need. So yeah, very, very good fight.
And bigdunka grabs his tempered sword and silvers.
I think after an acquisition night like that, you got to be thinking, okay, off to Eastern/Mod.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if he'll make the same choice. It looks like he is going for the pod Eastern play.
Mm-hmm. So looking at Furaime is heading back up to Death Mountain, so this could be a Turtle Rock gamble, which could very, very well pay off and pretty much clinch this race, I'd say, at this point. Because, yeah, I mean, Big Dunka, I wouldn't say is too far behind. Like, he just has to complete Eastern to be at the same crystal count again. But, again, like, he still has... Oh, and he's going through Pod as well, so he's also going to check this off. But, yeah, if the Ice Rod is in Turtle Rock, then that's going to just lead Furaime straight to the end.
Yeah, it kind of becomes a question of, you know, if Ice Rod is sitting in Turtle Rock, then he has sort of the fastest way to finish the game. If it's not, but it's somewhere, you know, still kind of out of the way. We could also be in a position where Furaime, you know, clears a bunch of T-Rock and therefore, you know, could just then go and find the Ice Rod and get right back to it after. But if Big Dunka finds it doing, you know, the things he's doing right now, then that does give him an advantage. So it's still really close, and all coming down to that one item.
I'm gonna be honest, I was really hoping that while you were saying that, he would have picked it up right there.
I was thinking about that. That's why I paused a little bit, because every time he opened a chest, I like paused what I was saying.
Yeah. Okay, so Dunka's gonna check this chest down here, which I believe Furaime checked, so that's not gonna be anything worthwhile. And is this gonna be a leave or? Yep, he's leaving. He does not want to see what's on Helmosaur.
Interesting. I can see the logic of this. Maybe he's thinking he'll check out, you know, clear Eastern, get that crystal, and then maybe if he doesn't find Ice Rod, maybe he will go back into Pod and finish off Helmosaur and go for that green pendant as well.
Yeah, we're kind of at this point where, like, I want to see both racers do something different right now, because that's what's going to make a race like this really, really hype, to have them going in two different directions, and whichever one is right is going to be basically what's probably going to determine this race, honestly.
And you know, this is a setup for T-Rock that, if you're go moding, you really want to see get 2 keys and a big key to start off with. But when you're still looking for an item, not necessarily what you're hoping for.
Yeah, because at that point, it's just literally going to take you to pretty much close to the end and just trying to draw out that last item. And then when you get to those last 4 chests, you just start getting nervous, just feeling, oh my gosh, it's not going to be here, it's not going to be here. I wasted so much time doing this. At least you got half magic out of it.
And another small key.
There's also a location of Mimic Cave as well, so we're definitely going to see that now, since that's the next
That'll
location.
definitely be a Mimic Cave check. And on the other side, we got Big Dunka's doing a bit of catch up on item location checking. I'm very if what I was saying about Sahasrara, that Sahasrara prediction turns out to be right. He was right there, and we get Powder as well.
Ooh,
and Furaime's leaving.
Oh, I like. Oh, well, I guess that would be. Oh, yeah, I guess that would be a little faster, I guess. But yeah, like he mirrored right there, which I found kind of funny.
Oh no, he's going back into. I thought he already did Mimic Cave. Oh my goodness! I was like,
yeah.
Why is he leaving the dungeon?
At first, I was thinking, wait, no, you just entered that room. Why are you mirroring? But then, like, just. Oh, okay. So yeah, he wanted to go back so he could set up Mimic Cave. That makes sense.
And just a red shield from there. The cape. Oh my goodness. So we've got 2 items left in T-Rock now?
I believe so, yes.
Oh, Dunka's going into Hera basement.
Yeah, I don't think Furaime stopped off here.
No, this could be very interesting.
He does miss the invulnerability trick. Whatever it's called. I don't really know what they call it.
I always just hear it as the coffee break, so that's all I think of it as.
Okay. Yeah. $50 rupees in the last chest. Red rupee. It is not in Turtle Rock.
Oh, if it's in the basement, that's huge.
Yeah, it's gonna be huge if this is it right here.
Now it'd be extra trolly if it was Magic Bat or Butter Sword, a sword upgrade.
Yeah.
In the basement.
Okay, so Big Duncan is okay. He's gonna check Spike Cave.
I mean, if I don't even want to call. I want to say if Dunka catches up, then that having Butter Sword could be huge. But it doesn't even feel like catching up at this point because we've got so many places where that ice rod could be at this point.
Yeah.
Now, if it is this though, if it's Magic Bat, that could be a big problem for Dunka.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just a bomb upgrade.
Just a bomb upgrade. Okay. Big Dunka is saving and quitting. He is not doing the. Oh no, Mountain Cave. Okay, shoot. Because on the flip side here, if Big Dunka does go to check Turtle Rock, which no, he's floating. Okay, this will be good.
I think. I wonder, is he just? Oh wait, is he avoiding
Ice Palace?
Ooh, Ice Palace play. Okay.
I really like this play right now because it's I want to say it's the highest volume location at this point.
Oh, I just realized earlier I kept talking about Pod and Sahasrara, but Ice Palace is Green Pendant. I don't know where my brain went on that one.
Mm-hmm. See, like, yeah, he's gonna check Ice Palace. Furaime's checking some overworld stuff. Bigdunka could get the Ice Rod at this point before if he continues checking these locations and not going to Turtle Rock. That could make a little bit of a difference. Furaime did clear a lot of the locks in Turtle Rock already, so if it'll still be close, but this could be big for Dunka if he does find the Ice Rod, like, in here for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then that green pendant will take him over to the pod area again. So if it does happen to be on Helmasaur, then he'd also be in good shape in that form as well. Okay, Furaime's also going to Ice Palace as well.
And I think Chad is pointing out, do we still have Thieves Town Big Chest as well?
I believe so, yes.
Oh man, these are not desirable locations for your last for your Go Mud item to be. But certainly desirable for those of us watching.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't say Dunka is ahead right now, because for one, he doesn't even have the Ice Rod yet. It may not even be here, for all we know. But also, like I said before, Furaime has opened a lot of the doors and checked all the items in Turtle Rock. Like, Bigdunka won't be looking for anything, but he still has to get some keys to open all the doors and check those locations, which Furaime won't have to do. So Furaime will get that distance back if there is the Ice Rod in here.
Yeah, it really all comes down to where that Ice Rod is sitting, and if it's not in here, you know, if we see them diverge again, if we see them go check different locations, you know, maybe Dunka goes to Pod while Furaime goes to Thieves Town. It could also be a matter of, if it is Pod, Bigdunka's already cleared all of it, and so Furaime might be a bit behind in Pod based on that. So there's a lot of factors that can still come into play. It's really close at this point.
Yeah, it is, for sure. And yeah, there's another factor too. Dunka does have a gold sword, so he will be able to get through a lot of the rooms here probably faster. He'll be able to get through Cold Stair faster for sure. And he'll get through Turtle Rock in his initial visit faster than Furaime did in his initial visit, but still, just the fact that Furaime can go straight to the end, not have to worry about any alternative doors to go to or anything. It's really, really close, I think, at this point.
Yeah, and also always have to commend the runners. Like, I'm always blown away by just how skilled these runners are. Oh,
there it is!
There it is!
There it is!
Oh boy. Now we've got quite a race happening.
Yes, for sure. Okay, Bigdunka, everybody, is in go mode. He is going to be going straight to Turtle Rock. He's going to be going through that as fast as he can. Furaime will be picking up the Ice Rod right here as well. So Furaime not in go mode that much later than Bigdunka. It's going to come down to... Bigdunka does have a little bit of a head start going back into Turtle Rock. But like I said, Furaime has opened all the doors. He has all the keys he needs. He's going to get through there very, very quickly. It could come down to just execution and Ganon's Tower at this point. Bigdunka will have the advantage. He has the gold sword. He can kill a lot of enemies really, really quickly. Get through that gauntlet very quickly. Get through the bosses really quickly. But again, it's just... Furaime has been executing so well in this race so far. So this is going to be really, really close.
Absolutely. Execution is going to be really significant. Also, if there's any divergence as far as, you know, the search for the big key goes, that will also be a big difference.
Bigdunka has to actually open the dungeon. It hasn't even been opened yet.
Yeah.
So Yes, basically, Rick explained it perfectly. Furaime will probably get a little bit of a lead going into Trinex, but it's not going to be much of one, I think. I think it's going to be really, really close. In fact, Furaime's already in Turtle Rock, so yeah. Not having to open the dungeon already made a huge difference.
Yeah, they're basically entering Turtle Rock at the same time, but Furaime has already cleared it, so gets to just move along.
So yeah, Gold Sword Execution. That's what bigdunka really needs to have at his disposal when in Ganon's Tower. And if it's an early big key, that may not even come into play though. It's really hard to say.
Oh, another really good point in chat. I don't recall. Oh no, Half Magic was in the
Chain
Chain
Chomp
Chomp room. Yeah, he would probably still grab it just because there's always the chance that it's a key that you need.
Yeah,
in progressing.
I think Dunka will get Chain Chomp item.
Especially since finding the big key here, you're not going to go for the vanilla big key spot. And so if that's a key, you definitely want to have enough keys before that.
Mm-hmm. And see, like right here, because there is the half magic, he's not going to have any keys when he enters the next section, so he is going to have to take that little divergence to the left side to grab that small key on the pokey. So Furaime didn't have to do that on his revisit because he already has cleared all this stuff. So again, just making a bigger lead right here.
Yeah, we can already see, Furaime is now reaching Trinex, whereas bigdunka is still going to have quite a few rooms to go through before he's at that point. And Furaime is making pretty quick work of Trinex there.
Yeah, definitely.
And he looks pretty well set up for the last. Yep. Insta-kill.
Yep. When you have the backwards L shape, you know you did good on Trinex.
And Furaime is grabbing his last crystal, which means it's time for the G Tower big key guess. You all know the drill. I see it happen in chat already. 22 item locations in Ganon's Tower. Where do you think the big key will be? Slim, any guesses?
I'm going to say at 8.
Nice, nice. I'm going to go with 12.
And yes, if you are a subscriber for any of the Speed Gaming channels, or if you've donated at least 250 bits, you will also be entered into a leaderboard if you happen to make the correct or closest guess to the actual number. So yeah, that's something fun you can do if you've supported this channel in that fashion.
And we're going to have the first 2 checked over on the right here. Just a red rupee and a blue rupee. That means we're going left side.
Yep. Okay, there is the last small key bigdunka needs. The third item in Ganon's Tower is a red rupee on Bob's torch.
got 4, 5, just small keys so far. Not the key we're looking for. 6 and 7. So we're going to be heading down.
Now, one thing that I have seen a couple of runners do is they could, now that they have, or now that he has more keys, he could just mirror out and then go to the right side. But that's a good thing he did not, because there is the key right there.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that's what you guessed.
Oh my god!
You guessed 8.
I guessed at 8. All right, awesome. Okay, so yeah, Furaime going straight into the gauntlet, looking pretty good with his execution in this race. I think this is going to be really, really cool to watch, just to see how he handles the gauntlet and all the other sections leading up to the end. And bigdunka definitely has a lot of ground to cover, especially with the execution he has had today. Furaime's execution, I mean.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a pretty significant gap here. I mean, not necessarily insurmountable, but like you said, you're kind of depending on Furaime to make a mistake right now in execution, which it doesn't seem too likely.
Yeah, as chat's saying, it would definitely take some Ganon falls to, I think, even this race up a little bit. And even if they're early falls, that's not a whole lot of time. Furaime just kind of missing the third land mola there for that quick kill, but then gets it right away after. This is definitely, I could definitely see, I mean, I think any race you're feeling like your opponent is probably close to winning, like you always have that in the back of your mind that they're going to dot done at any moment, but on a seed like this, I think it's something you worry about even more with how sort of slow the early progression was. Yeah, it was very, very slow starting out. The whole thing with Pod was also quite an adventure as well. 3 items there, and again, just getting some kind of thought going on with how exactly the logic wanted them to attempt that dungeon. It's just a really hard call to make. So I'm sure with that, they're like both of them at this point probably don't feel like either of them are ahead right now. As close as we know that Furaime is to finishing the seed, I bet he's still even expecting the dot done message to appear like any second now.
Yeah, absolutely, and that you know, again, I was almost saying earlier, and then we found the ice rod, but it's definitely a testament to just how good these runners are. When you think about the way the seed started to, you know, be wrapping up with these times with both of them in G Tower is pretty impressive. There was a lot to check that did not lead to much for quite a while at the beginning.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Like I said at the beginning of this race, both of these runners perform in the weekly races every weekend, and these are 2 names I see honestly near the top a lot. So they've practiced this a lot, they've done this a lot, so they know exactly what to do when it comes to like the past randomizer, and they're showing that right here with a seed like this. Finishing under 2 hours, I think, is incredible.
Yeah, I think we've, if I recall, I think we were even hitting the hour mark, and we were maybe at 2 crystals and still no hammer. So, and a pendant dungeon cleared. So I mean, that's not a setup you think is going to suddenly turn into, you know, finishing in under 2 hours. It's just not.
And very quickly, before we head to Ganon, I just want to plug this really quick. Coming up after this race, we have a Zelda 1 randomizer race. So if you enjoyed this randomizer, if you want to check out the randomizer of the first Zelda game, please stay tuned. We have a match, Bent Glass Tube versus Z-Man 050778. So definitely check that out if you want to see more randomizer, but of a different game, a different Zelda game.
Yeah, and I think we might still have a match going on Speed Gaming 2. I'm not sure. It started an hour and 20 minutes ago, so that might be wrapping up soon. And I think there was also one happening in the secondary tournament on Link to the Past Randomizer, the channel, ALTTP Randomizer. Again, that one might also be wrapping up. I think that started an hour ago. There's probably still quite a bit of time left then.
Yeah, but getting back to this Ganon fight, Furaime already on the third phase of Ganon, making very, very quick work of this Ganon fight.
Yeah, that was very fast. And remember, if you like these runners, be sure to give them a follow. Definitely putting on an amazing race for us tonight. And Furaime entering phase 4.
Yes, we did find the silver arrows inside this very pyramid, actually.
Oh, and a triple to finish it off.
Triple to finish. Oh my, that was great.
That is going to be a GG for Furaime. Get your GGs in the chat.
Yeah, incredible, very incredible run, and he's actually going to finish his race with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 10 seconds. GG. Amazing execution. Very, very well done.
And bigdunka is doing some dashes into the validation chest. He's going to bomb it a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Oh, even bringing out the medallion, quaking right on top of it. Take that, chest. Take that.
And then opening it for 20 rupees.
He opens it anyway. Oh yeah, chat actually making a very valid point. Unfortunately, with that loss, bigdunka will not be progressing into the next stage of the tournament because the two people currently in first place in the group have a 2-1 record. So unfortunately, he'll not be progressing, but still very solid work. Not finishing like very much long after Furaime here, and definitely made some really, really good decisions going through this seed for sure. So definitely, when he finishes this, give him all the GGs for a really, really good tournament run.
And yeah, just checking now to see if Furaime will be coming in for an interview or not.
Meanwhile, Dunka starting his Ganon fight already on phase 2 with Gold Sword. Only takes 6 hits for each of the first 2 phases, so definitely doesn't take as much time. And even then, Temper didn't take that much time either, but it does takes a less time to get through Ganon with the Buttered Sword, but the next 2 phases will play about the same.
Yeah, phases 3 and 4, it's really just the same idea. Hit and then use your silvers. Really, the only thing, it would have been different if they didn't have silvers. that would definitely make butter
Yeah.
a better alternative.
And unfortunately, Furaime will not be coming in for an interview. He does not have a mic or
Okay.
the ability to talk on Discord. So we'll see if Big Dunka will come in when he's finished.
And that'll be GG for Big Dunka on finishing this seed.
That's right, everybody. Get your GGs in chat. Very nice run. Also, sub 2 hour on a seed that did have some trolliness to it for sure. He finishes with an SRL chat of, or SRL chat, an SRL time of 1 hour 55:47 seconds.
And I think he's ready to come in and talk to us, so I'll just pull him in here.
Okay, sure thing.
Big Dunka, GG.
It was a game, yeah.
Okay, G.
So how did you feel about that seed?
This is my fourth. I'm 4 for 4 on this match in these group stages for getting hammer after an hour.
Wow.
So yeah, it's par for the course, I guess. I mean, I knew I was way behind when I finally dipped into pod, and I just started gambling at that point. It was, it's like I couldn't get out of the blocks, and I just couldn't make my way over to pod. There was only a couple of opportunities to go over there, and I just kept turning him up for other things, and that obviously that was the big thing.
You know, interestingly enough, it was actually quite a while before Furaime headed over there as well. But I think this was just the kind of seed where you were so often left with just not great options to go look for where your progression was. You know, like you have Terra Basement and Thieves Town Big Chest. I mean, I think it'd be one that'd be interesting to watch the VOD for, because you'll see it was tricky. It was tricky, and we don't fault you. We still think you did a really good job considering how brutal that seed was to you guys.
Yeah, come to the end. I mean, I knew I would have been way behind. That's why I didn't go to Turtle Rock, is because I knew if the ice route was in Turtle Rock, I was done. So I started checking fringe places like the Hera basement, and I was gonna go to the blind basement too next, and then I looked and I realized I haven't even been inside ice yet, so I decided to go to ice. But did he go into Turtle Rock?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did, and that did sort of become a bit of a difference towards the end there, because he already had quite a bit of Turtle Rock cleared out. So when you ended up going into Turtle Rock about the same time, he was able to go straight to Trinex.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it was the correct choice in that scenario. It's just why I didn't do it, because I figured I was at least 5 minutes behind after the start on that. So, you know, again, I was looking for those fringe places, the places I would assume he was going to go last, and I wanted to go to those places first.
Well, that was definitely a good call, because you were actually in go mode before him, only by a few seconds, but nonetheless. But yeah, going straight to Ice Palace was a good call. Heck, even going to Hera was a good call, because you had this gold sword, and your opponent did not actually have that. So you had that advantage as well. But like Bosley said, yeah, just the fact that he had done all of Turtle Rock, even though that did make him waste a lot of time on the revisit, he just was able to go straight through right to the end, and that's definitely where he not only caught up, but got ahead of you by about a minute or two, and then just having to open all the chests to look for the keys, just kind of spent a lot more time, unfortunately, but definitely good call in the Ice Palace for sure.
Yeah, I wish I would have gone there first.
Yeah, for sure. I think the other thing that we saw that might have made a little bit of a difference is, and again, you'll see this if you go back and watch it, was the decision to go into Mire. So you both actually made that call to go into Mire, you know, pretty early on while you had Master Sword and Quake. Furaime did it first. I think if you had maybe gone to look for some other things, you would have been able to also make up time there, because it was you know, it was a lampless Master Sword Meyer, so that takes quite a while. But then you ended up also making the same decision in that regard. But again, not a bad decision with the way that seed was treating you.
Yeah, that was one of those where Meyer has items, you know, semi-often. It was also 5/6, and that was the biggest reason why I decided to do that, is because let's say Hookshot is in there, or not Hookshot, Hammer is in there. That leads me straight to Swamp, which then leads me to Fat Fairy, and then who knows where it is. Because I think at that point I still was like 5 items short or something like that for Go mode. So took the risk. That Vitreous fight just took forever.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, the decision definitely makes sense. I don't think there was anything wrong with the decision. It's just kind of one of those things with Randomizer. If that would have made a difference if you had decided to gamble something else. But I think it was the logical choice to make. Obviously, just now we're on the other side of it and know how it went.
Yep. So that happened.
But yeah, there were just a lot of things interesting about that seed. Even just Palace of Darkness, the very interesting item distribution there for sure. Like both fire sources and the boots were there, and one of the fire sources only being available once you got the first one. So yeah, that's just a crazy set of items and item locations for sure.
Yeah, having both fire sources there was the kicker. If one was there, that's fine, but with both being there, it was obviously an absolute necessity to go there as soon as possible. It's just, it was so inconvenient to do it, considering the route you had to take to get there, and there was just other things in the way, and the book was the thing that threw me, because the book led to absolutely nothing, and you get that, and you're like, ooh, I could check these tablets now, and ooh, I don't want to go to pod yet, and
with no lamp, with no bow, and with no hammer, like, just pod does not look very inviting at all. So I can definitely understand not wanting to go there. It's just unfortunate that that's how the seed was looking at.
Yeah, so that's kind of what it is. It's just, yeah, got nothing else. Really.
Yeah, makes sense.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I do gotta say one thing to anybody that's in my group. I have to apologize in advance. We had the makings of a potential 5-way 2-2 tiebreaker race, and I totally blew it for everybody, and I'm very, very sorry, and that's inexcusable for my part.
On the subject of that, since, as you mentioned, unfortunately your record will go to 1-3, which means you will not be able to progress to the next phase of the tournament. Is there any final things you want to say overall about your run throughout the entire tourney? Anything you'll take from this tourney to maybe use in the next tourney whenever it happens, or anything like that?
Yeah, a couple of things. This is my first. I've only really been doing this in SRL since end of August, so. I understand that most of the people I've been playing against have a lot more, experience with this than I do. So to be able to get to at least to this point, I'm happy with that. So the majority of the players that I'm playing against, at least execution-wise, have been better than me on average. So I'm okay with this. I'm not happy with it, but I'm okay with it. And now there's who knows how long between now and if and when there's one in the spring, which hopefully there is, and hopefully the people in power decide to do Key Sanity.
Oh yes, I like that idea.
So much fun. But no, it's been a blast. And everybody running this, you guys doing commentary and, Feasel behind the scenes has just been, every time that he comes in to set something up, you can tell that he's working his butt off to get everything in place. And everybody that's gone into this is just done a fantastic job. And I know they've got a lot of work still in front of them, but it's so much appreciated to let us, enjoy it from our side. So,
yeah, for sure. But also, don't sell yourself too short. You've definitely, just from what I've noticed, just in like all the weekly races for every weekend, You usually perform very well. I see you kind of near the top in a lot of races, so don't sell yourself too short. You're good, and this was a really good run. Unfortunately, it was just a case where you were second in this particular race. So
it happens. I appreciate it. Thank you.
But yeah, and with that, I think we are good to wrap up. Thanks for coming to chat with us, though.
You betcha. Have a good night, guys. Thanks, everyone in chat.
Okay, so as you said, let's go ahead and sign off for today. Like we said before, there is a Zelda 1 randomizer coming up in just a little bit, so if you want to stay around for that, please do. There's also, as far as other races, I don't think there's any other races tonight.
No, I do think those other 2 races, though, are still going on based on who I'm seeing in commentary channels. So we've got Speed Gaming 2 with a main tournament race, and then ALTTP Randomizer is the channel for one of the secondary tournament matches that's happening. They might be wrapping up pretty soon, though, and as you can see, we're getting set up for the Zelda race. So I'm going to sign off now. Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, thank you very much. Had fun, and enjoy some Zelda 1 Randomizer. This has been Slim Kirby, and with my co-commentator, I Bosley.
Hello. And goodbye.
And also special thanks to Volt, our tracker, and Fiesel for always the restream. We'll see you guys later.
Good night, everyone.